Hello all. This is a new build that I have just completed. Do a little close-up here of everything just so you can appreciate it. And there it is. I like that black gas tube in there. It looks awesome. And the matte silver looking barrel. Very nice. I really like these Anderson integrated trigger guard low receivers. They're great. They're forged too, so they're really strong. Anyway, so I'm going to go over what I have in this, in terms of the internals and everything. Let's start with the receivers. This is an Anderson integrated trigger guard. The upper receiver is an Aero Precision, just a standard sort of upper with the forward assist and the ejection port cover. This is a AIM Sports 10-inch key mod rail, and has key mod all around, as you can see. It is really nice. It feels great. It's lightweight. It has these little anti-rotation tabs built into that go onto your receiver. I did have to modify this the ejection port pin that goes through the entire ejection port and then out to this other side here. I had to cut this down because it was actually a little bit too long to let this handguard come all the way onto the upper receiver. So that's not the fault of the handrail. That's the fault of Rock River Arms for producing way too long of a ejection port pin. I think the whole thing with the steel barrel nut weighs 10 ounces, something like that. But nice quality hardware. It's 6065 aluminum series. The barrel is a CAK barrel, K-A-K. It is the 8-inch blonde model. The gas block is a Radical Firearms steel gas block with set screws rather than a pin. The gas tube itself is a Seekins melanited gas tube. The muzzle attachment here is a Noveske KX5. It's actually upside down currently, and it does include a crush washer. The cool thing about the KX5 over the KX3 is that it fits inside these slim handguards. The outer diameter is, I believe, 1.2 inches wide all around, so it can fit in. This is a 1.3 inch handguard opening, so as you can see, it's very, very nice in there, really nice and flush. These are individually serialized parts, so for quality control reasons they like to do that. And it's all steel, so it's a little bit heavier than some other muzzle attachments, but I think it's 4.7 ounces, so something like that. The cool thing about it is it has an extra chamber inside of here. It's about like right here, and when the bullet travels through, it captures more gases on the side here than a traditional sort of muzzle attachment would do. And then it actually provides more back pressure, so it kind of tricks your system into thinking that the barrel is a little bit longer than it actually is, or the gas system is a little bit longer. So what it does is it helps short-barreled rifles. It gives the ability to provide more back pressure for more reliable cycling. And what it also does, if you haven't noticed by the shape, is it pushes all the muzzle blast and all the concussion forward. So for the shooter and for people on the sides, it actually sounds quieter, or it's perceivably quieter to the shooter and to the people on the sides of the shooter. But if you're in front of it, it is just as loud, if not louder, because it's directing all that sound forward. So it's more comfortable for the shooter and for your bystanders on the sides of you. They don't feel that huge concussion every time you fire. This is a 300 blackout model, so it's not 5.56, 223, but so it doesn't have as much of a concussion, but it's still enough to where it'd be uncomfortable. And being that I got the barrel shorter than the handguard intentionally, I wanted to be able to clear it, so it also allows me to get a shorter barrel, but still have but still pop out of the handguard here. The bolt carrier inside is an Anderson, black nitride coated bolt carrier group. The trigger group is Rock River Arms. It's a 2-stage trigger, so meaning it is empty, of course, meaning there's a little bit of a take up here. It's about 3 pounds of take up, and then it breaks super clean, super light, and the reset is very light as well and very quick. And my chickens are outside wigging out. The entire lower parts kit is by Rock River Arms. So like the safety, the pins, the magazine release, all that stuff is Rock River Arms. Except for these anti-rotation pins by CCT. This is, I think, an aluminum part, but the pins, I think, are titanium or some kind of high-quality steel. I can't remember. The buffer tube assembly is by Spikes Tactical, so that means the buffer tube, the castle nut, or the receiver extension, depending on what side of the coin you're on with what to call it. The end plate, or whatever it's called, and the actual buffer itself is Spikes Tactical, and the spring as well. So that's that entire assembly, and it's made out of 70, 75. I think T6 or T7 or whatever aluminum. So it's like it's the more durable, lighter, harder version of aluminum than the rail here. These are both 70, 75 series aluminum as well, forged. We got a Raptor. It's kind of greasy right now, but got a Raptor charging handle, and it's ambidextrous. As you can see, you can address it from both sides. That is my favorite charging handle. I do have this little piece of felt or Velcro, like the smooth Velcro right here. Just so, because I know my brass is going to peel some of the finish off of here, so I'm trying to keep this one cherry. This is a BMS mil-spec minimalist stock right here. And as you can see, it is very lightweight. It's skeletonized. It's one of the lightest weight stocks you can get for an AR. This is a Magpul MOE SL, which stands for a slimline, I believe. Pistol grip. There's no grip storage, but it's very slim, and it does have the beaver tail still, so it still kind of gives you really good purchase on the pistol grip. And this is a Vortex Spitfire first generation 1X or 1 times. So it does have red and green dots. It's got for each position, it's got 5 brightness intensities. It does come with this riser, and you can remove this riser and make it sit lower to the gun. And the windage and elevation caps here also second as a way to adjust it. You just flip it around and then use that little. It does have a adjustment eyepiece here, so you can adjust it to your eyes, which is cool. And the reticle is etched into the glass rather than, so you can always see it kind of like a scope. You can always see it whether it's batteries or not, unless it's broken. This trigger here, I'm going to open it up for you. You can see by the hammer design, it's quite a bit different. And so what it does is it actually locks up. I got some white lithium grease on it. It locks up right here and right here rather than down at the bottom. I don't believe it locks down the bottom at all. So when that comes down while you're still depressing the trigger, that catches it, and then the second lock catches it right here. Right there. So what this makes for is a super light trigger. I'd equate it to about 3 pounds, which is kind of like a trigger that you'd have on like a precision rifle. You wouldn't want that kind of a trigger on a duty rifle or a rifle that you intend to use like maybe for self-defense or whatnot. This is purely for precision. I do want to let you guys know that this Spitfire does in fact work with the Vortex magnifier, the 3x magnifier. It says on their website that it doesn't work, but that's not true. and I do have a video in one of my playlists. I think it's in my tabletop playlist, that it actually does work with this sight. So, and I believe other magnifiers would too, as long as there's an adjustable eyepiece. So keep that in mind if you're looking for this build, or looking at the Spitfire and you feel like it's limiting your options in terms of a magnifier. It actually does work with the Vortex VMX3, I believe it's called. So keep that in mind. In terms of rifles, I think this is the absolute easiest rifle to build in terms of how much knowledge is actually out there about this firearm, so, or this system or platform. For the most part, you can figure this out on your own. You know, you don't need a company or whatever to build or put these pieces together for you. Build one, you know, as long as you have the proper tools. And all I used for this entire build was one roll punch. I used a small hammer. This little hammer probably cost like $2 somewhere. My dad got it for me. It's like a little jeweler's hammer. Little hammer. You can use any hammer though. An armorer's wrench, which is something like this, but you know, you can get like a cheaper one that doesn't have all this fancy stuff on it. But I mean, this tool is similar. It's more for older school things. But as you can see, it has like slots for tightening down barrel nuts. Not barrel nuts, muzzle attachments, and the castle nut here, and then it originally had like a little dot here to take off a delta ring, which this does not feature a delta ring, and I hate delta rings. But tools like that, the handguard itself came with the Allen key required to do it, and most of them do, and sometimes they even come with the tool required to put on their proprietary barrel nut. This one did not have like a super fancy barrel nut, just had like a sort of basic one. And then I used this to put on the barrel nut, just a regular crescent wrench, you know. Chances are you already have the tools to do the build, so why not just build the entire thing yourself? And it's just it baffles me on how intimidated people are to take their gun apart or to put it back together because they feel like they're going to mess it up when there's not really much you can mess up. I strongly implore you to do a little bit of research and to be more self-sufficient, because it's not that hard. And gunsmiths and armorers, or whatever you want to call them, they're not cheap, you know, and they know it. You know they know it. You know it. Like, everybody knows, you know, unless you have a friend that knows about this stuff, like, it's not cheap work, you know, and they're kind of taking you by the balls. They know that you don't know how to work on your own, so they can charge whatever they want. And there are a lot of gunsmiths and stuff that'll treat you good, and they'll be nice about it, and sometimes they'll do certain things for free. But I mean, I would probably venture to say that they would charge maybe couple $100 to build something like this for you, even if you provided the parts for them to build it, just for their time, you know. And I mean, it took me probably 20 minutes, maybe less, to build this gun. I had to do a couple modifications to get it to work and stuff, but honestly, it didn't, you know, it took me like maybe 10 minutes to build the lower, and, you know, I don't know, like 15 minutes or something like that to build the upper, because I had to adjust the barrel nut to where like these screws would line up. So that took a little bit of time, because you had to like kind of do it a little bit at a time, be like, oh, do they fit? No, they still don't fit. You know, so that took a little bit of time. But other than that, like, it's really not an intimidating process, and I really want to promote building your own AR, specifically ARs. They're so easy to build. Like, all the parts fit together. You know, they've been referenced even by the media as Lego guns. You just literally put the pieces together. You know, they're all pretty much good to go. All the parts are standardized. You know, very easy. This gun, if I would have bought it built like you see it now, if I would have bought it built from a gun manufacturer, would have cost probably about $2,000, something like that, you know. And I got it for, you know, 1/4 that price. If you're gonna do something like this, it's a good time to do it now. As you know, California and places like New York and Chicago and all that stuff, like they're always trying to come up with new gun laws, and they never work. They never do anything. They're just inconveniencing people, making prices go up. You know, that's all they're doing, is screwing over the good people of the world. So background check is one thing, you know, like to see if you're a criminal, whatever, that's fine. But if someone's going to go buy a gun, right, and they know they're a criminal, they're not going to go through the background check. They're going to be like, wait a second, I'm a felon, or wait a second, you know, I just did some rapings a little while ago, maybe you know, and I got arrested for it, so maybe I shouldn't go buy a gun at a gun establishment. Maybe I should just go steal one, or maybe I should go, you know, get one from some other black market area. You know, like, anyway, also, they're trying to ban armor sales now. They're going to try to make it to where civilians cannot purchase body armor. And that's one of those things where it's like, okay, so only law enforcement and military, you know, basically the government has access to protection. Like Hillary Clinton, right? She wants to ban the AR-15. She wants to ban the sale of it. She wants to get rid of it, you know, destroy all the ones that are in existence right now. And, you know, what do you think her bodyguards and stuff carry? They might not carry AR-15s, but what do you think her bodyguards carry? They probably carry the full gamut of equipment. They probably have body armor. They probably have high capacity magazines, you know, which are actually just standard capacity. That was the magazine it was designed for. She has probably everything protecting her that she doesn't want regular people to have, which in my opinion is ridiculous for her to even consider, you know, banning something that she makes use of probably on a daily basis. Maybe not directly, you know, maybe she doesn't use it directly, but the people that protect her positively have a full arsenal of whatever at their disposal to protect her and to protect her people and her family. But, you know, we're not good enough to have that same protection, you know, and I feel like that's wrong, and it really upsets me. So, but anyway, go build yourself an AR, do it now, and or do it as soon as you can afford it. I highly recommend it. If you have any questions on how to do any certain thing, I can help you. I can walk you through it, either verbally or I could kind of show you. I can demonstrate. So if you have any questions, I will do my best to help you out. And I hope you enjoyed this video and the first look at my new build. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.